All right. So good to see everyone here. I want to just, without embarrassing anyone, call out my good friend Lisa, who has joined us and left her video to get up and dance. Um, Lisa's been a part of my life for a long time. And welcome, Kathy, and who else? Anybody else who is new here? Jerry, I haven't seen you, so I welcome you. But we're just such a great group of people. And so one of the lessons that we all live by is that the more we share, the more we receive. And we practice that together. And that is basically the meditation that we're going to do this morning. It has some elements of that. This is a meditation that is based on A Course in Miracles. It's one of the it's called the first lesson of the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit, if you remember, is just our own ability to know the oneness that we are. That's what the Holy Spirit is. A Course calls it a memory or a bridge to oneness from this seeming separation to the oneness that we are. So we're going to work with this first lesson, which is to give all to all. And you don't need to remember that because I'm going to repeat it many times, but it's to give all to all. And we're going to use the breath in this meditation. And so I encourage you to just follow along as best you can. And I'm going to turn my screen off, and I would encourage you to turn yours off. This meditation is going to last about anywhere from 20 minutes to half an hour. So get yourself comfortable. Hopefully you will be in a place where you won't be interrupted. So settle in, even though it's only a quarter past noon here. The day has certainly left me with things that I need to process or that I need to let go of. So settle in and just know that you are safe where you are and that you're welcome in this space of an open door. And set your intention now to be fully present and to allow whatever arises to arise. This guided meditation is an interlude. It's a moment of respite from the requirements of daily living. You're not meant to live your life in meditation, although you may find aspects of it that follow you into moments of your daily life when you least expect it. So what we're going to do here in this contemplative experience is to explore a process of emptying ourself. And we will use the breath as a vehicle for that. We're going to allow the breath to hold and guide the mind, but eventually we will drop even the breath into a space of simply being. Whatever arises is perfect for you. So the lesson is to give all to all. And in this practice, we are not emptying our bank account or giving away the entire contents of our pantry to the food bank. We are not seeking divine expression in the outer world. We are going inward. We're going to go deeply inward here. We're going to give away all thoughts and all sensations that arise in the moment that they arise. And we're going to give them to the vast, empty, unlimited, spaceless space of the all. You might ask yourself, to give all to all, what does that mean? Who is giving? And what is the all that is being given to? And you might ask, when all is given to all, what is left? So we begin in silence. And again, you can't do this wrong. Be open to anything and stay present in the now. Now present in the body. Notice the energy in the body. Just notice it. This inner nature of aliveness. You might sense it as a vibration or as a subtle energy. Just notice it. You don't need to do anything with it. And notice your breath, breathing in and out. Notice how the breath is effortless. It just happens on its own. And notice any feelings or thoughts or sensations. We're just getting in tune right now to whatever's arising, just noticing it. And now gently shift your awareness to the out breath. Don't worry about the in breath. Just focus on the out breath. And follow the out breath all the way to the end. From the moment the breath leaves the body, leaves the lungs to the out breath, all the way to the end. This is kind of like surfing a wave, riding the crest of the wave until it just reaches the shore and flows out. And you might notice that at the end of the breath, there's a slight pause, just a small resting space. And then we naturally just breathe in again without effort. At the end of the out-breath, just a small space. And then we breathe in again. And when you want to do this, I invite you to make the out-breath a little bit longer. Really empty the lungs. And notice that as you fully empty the lungs, we take a little larger inhale, a deeper inhale. And then we ride the breath a little bit longer on that out breath. There's almost a little push at the end of the out breath. Staying fully present, breathing in naturally, and then fully exhaling all the way to the end. And now we're going to take this just a bit deeper. We're going to really notice any feeling or any sensation that arises in your awareness. We're going to notice it. We're going to consciously place it in the out-breath and just let it ride the out-breath to the end of the breath and drop it off. And then just inhale naturally. And whatever's in your awareness, place it in the out-breath, carry it to the end, and drop it off. Just let it go. And if you can't let it go, if it comes back on the in-breath, that's just fine. Just take the energy of the thought or the feeling and just surrender it with the wave on the out-breath. And just drop it into the empty space. And whatever comes back on the in-breath is perfectly fine. All that arises, we give away on the out-breath. We did not make, we do not make what arises. It just arises. Don't even worry about it. Notice it just arises, no matter how pleasant or unpleasant. What arises is from the all. It is as the all and in the all. And we are the witnessing awareness of it all. And we allow it to arise and move through us and ride it out on the empty space from which it came. We ride it on that out breath, which is truly empty space, and drop it off into more empty space. And we don't worry about where it goes or where it came from. That's not our job. We just allow it to arise, and then we offer it out to the emptiness. And then we allow whatever arises next to arise. Just notice how it feels to breathe in and allow anything to arise, and breathe out and give it all away. What is left when you give it all away? Just notice there's no real answer here. In a very real sense, we are meeting ourself coming and going. We are the in-breath and everything that arises. We are that. And we are the out-breath, giving it all away. Now and now and now. So we allow all that arises and we give it all to all. Notice the space when you drop whatever it is you've carried off the edge. Notice that space. What is there in that moment before you inhale again? This is the one last noticing. So on your next in-breath, just take a little bit more breath so that the out-breath becomes a little bit longer. Don't work too hard. Just set the intention and see what happens. So breathe in fully and breathe out fully. And then hold at the end of that out breath for as long as it feels comfortable for you. Just drop into the empty space and hang there. So whatever arises on the in-breath, nice deep in-breath, and breathe it out. Drop it off into the empty space and fall into the space of no breath. It may last a second. It may last for a blissful time. Breathing in and letting it all go on the out breath, and then abiding in no breath. Feel what no breath feels like. Take a moment and look around in that space. Bring your awareness to that space of no breath. There's no thought. There's no time. There's no identity. There's not even a sense of space. This is the fullness of emptiness. This is where you've dropped everything on that out breath. It has accepted everything you've dropped into it. It's not colored by it. It's not affected by it. You can bring anything on the out breath to this empty space and drop it in. This is the all that accepts all. What do we have when we give all to this all? If there's one thing, we can call it. It might be peace. One word. But it has many names. So whatever arises in awareness, we can breathe it in and feel it fully with all our senses. And then we can place it on the out breath and breathe it out and drop it off. And as we repeat this cycle over and over, we sink into just the pureness of the experience. We are the endless giving and receiving. We are the fullness and the emptiness at the same time. And the more that we can hold and allow and give away, the more life we have, the more we can experience and be, because we are this ever expanding awareness that all shares with itself and with us as its own being. So we become a fulcrum, receiving all that we can from the all, and then giving it back on the out breath. Now and now and now. And we remain completely pure and transparent as we receive and then give away. There's nothing you cannot hold, and there is nothing you cannot give away. So to have, give all to all. To know yourself, allow all and give all to all. And now bring your attention into the body and feel the aliveness of the body. Notice how it feels. Is it different than it was in the beginning of this meditation? Is it somehow more transparent? Just notice. And breathe naturally. And give yourself the offering of peace and be happy with yourself. There's no doing this right or wrong. It's just your experience. And when you're ready, just take 3 or 4 deep breaths. And let yourself gently come back into your body. I'm going to turn my screen on and we can share whatever came up for you if you want to share. Elizabeth, you've got your hand raised. Come to the head of the table. Welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
Mhm.
I noticed the observer and the observed without trying to settle into it. I just rested there. And the ticker tape it felt like the head. It went on all kinds of things. But I looked not to correct it. It would like get my attention to stop it. And then I realized it was in the trying to stop it, I was losing the agitation. So I was finding the balance of saying, oh, no, I'm not doing it perfectly. I can't stop that. So I was peacefully, in a way, wasn't like a total peace, but like a quietness, just observing it without trying to stop it. And it like at one point was just trying to drown out your voice. But I stayed with the feeling, not the words. That's what I felt in that moment, was more of just a feeling of, that to me was significant. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's always a challenge for me, is not to imagine that when I'm leading a guided meditation that my voice isn't just really grating on someone. Because I've been there, and I would say, Elizabeth, that was a masterful handling of that, and I really appreciate your sharing that with us.
Oh,
Really
and
appreciate it.
by the way, your voice was perfect.
Oh, okay.
That's not what it's saying. I think that's because it was so, and I think it's like any time it can make a judgment. Today, someone's too fast. I hear my own sometimes when I'm on a cast and I might speak and later hear the brother plum going, oh my gosh. So it could have been any cadence, but because it to me was coming in so soft, so inviting, and it was going in there, and then it like hit a point like, oh, don't listen to that. So it wasn't you. It was actually so perfect to allow that to come up. I think that's what some of the classes I'm in is. Let it rise, witness it in order, then don't hold on to it. We just in our heart say, oh, whatever we say, divine presence, Holy Spirit, I'm allowing this to be felt and seen so that it can be brought to your whatever you will help me with in my particular offering. So I would like to say, absolutely beautiful. I've heard you on many classes, and this one really felt like there was a gentle, if we want to call it divine motherly essence coming through you. Not as an ego thing, but I really felt that. And that's what scared it. And that's also what gave me such comfort. So thank you. And to the presence that is right now, really, I feel something um, in this group that we're in right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Rana, you're at the head of the table. Good
Yeah.
morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Somebody tell my cat that I'm about to share. Beautiful, Amy. Thank you very much. I wanted to speak about what happened as I was listening and I was holding at the end of the breath. And you mentioned open your eyes. And when I did that, like all time stood still just for a brief moment. And like everything was just one thing, you know? And it was very brief. And so I'm going to stop talking about it so I don't try to put more words, because that's something I've learned here. I believe those are enough words to express what occurred or what I experienced. The other pointing I'd like to share about is your focus around to have, give all to all. The first thing the mind does, it's so smart to have, right? Immediately it goes to things, right? And then it's like it tries to clean itself up. And it says, well, no, this is about being of service. But after sitting, and then finishing this beautiful space we have entered into, I look at that sentence again. That's all I have on the page so far, right? And it's just to have is to have the experience of that feeling of being at the end of the breath. That's what is to have. And the all to all is just the experience of being, for me, for this one here, is just being a cog in the wheel of consciousness. That this aspect is so much bigger than I can even experience, but just to know that it's one huge beyond anything I can think about. That's where you brought me. You brought me to this one was brought to the end of thinking. There was like the edge of it and then empty. And so I want to say thank you, because that was really one of the first experiences of being absolutely empty had here. And so there was just that, okay, go a little bit more, allow it a little bit more. So it was great. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So if you practice this, and I wouldn't suggest trying to do it every day, but if you practice it, really allowing everything, like not controlling anything, and then taking as much of what has arisen and just letting it go at the end, breathing it out, and then resting in that empty space where there's just there's no breath. And I think that because there's no breath, there's no breathing in or breathing out, it's just silent. And you've dropped everything into it, and it has accepted everything you've given it. And yet it could still accept more. And so you breathe in again, and then willingly, whatever arises, you take it in, and then you give it away again. You give it to the all. And this is the witnessing awareness where there's no identity. You're just a porous receiver of whatever the all sends, and then you let that channel open and you give it back away. You give it back. So, Rico, how was that for you? Good to see you here.
It's good to see you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, family and friends. Thank you for allowing me to be here with you. I send you love and light from my heart to yours. Amy, that was absolutely delicious. Very, very different, because I've meditated a lot over the years, different ways, different forms, very different. I can tell you that this was the most vast and free that I've ever felt to date. In stillness and silence. There was no plan. Time was gone. It didn't even exist. There was no me. There was just having this experience and not wanting to jump for joy because it feels good, and just staying with that experience. I had no idea of the beginning nor the end, nor was I interested. But it was probably the safest and the most trusting, loving space that I've experienced in what we call meditation. So I don't know why you say don't do that every day, but the first thing I did after we finished was, I need to start doing this. So maybe I'll take your advice and I'll do it once in a while, but it put me in a space where I've never been before. And I don't know if it's crazy or not, but I'm the kind of guy that draws me in. I've never been here before. I want more. But in the 12-step program, we say more shall be revealed. I'm going to allow more to be revealed and for the Rico character to go chase it and see what happens. But I'm saying the vastness of it was tremendous. Never felt that much space, and whoever felt it wasn't me. So it was absolutely delicious, and I would never lie to you. I have to try at least once more because it was very enlightening. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Rico. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And you're exactly right. Just, don't make it a habit, but, but now that you've traveled into that space, it will always be available to you because you know it now, right? You can only know through the experience. So you've had the experience and it's in your knowing, right? And that is what you are. You nailed it. Thank you so much, Rico. Thank you. Cindy, and then Patricia.
Yeah, I won't. I wanted to say to Rico, I don't listen to too many guided meditations, and I didn't sit for the meditation today. I'm holding this. There's a part of my mind that's in admin, facilitator, host role. So I stood up and held the space and allowed the peaceful, easy feeling to flow through me without risking what happened to August. He loses his body a lot when he's here. I don't know. I wanted to say to Rico, that Amy guides us every Tuesday. If you can get up and come join us at 7 a.m. your time, we always begin, training wheels with Amy guiding us into something. So I wanted to say that out loud. I also just felt worthy of unmuting just to say thank you, Amy. Um, this was extraordinary. And also to just kind of highlight, especially for those who aren't sharing that may have had different experiences, that everyone that shared had a different experience, right? Elizabeth was talking about how her thinking mind just like colored the screen of awareness, and it was safe to do that. And there was a part of her that could watch. And Carrie in the chat just said there was a lot of darkness and a lot of negativity in her space. And she's been hanging out with us long enough to know that it was safe to feel it and let it come up. And Rico's talking about vastness, and Rana's talking about emptiness, and August was talking about, man, timelessness to the point where, he said yes to your voice, and then it was over. So it was just on me to say, just being here means that the experience was right. And for anyone who doesn't know, that you do something like this, like every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, and to say thank you. And that's all I got.
Thank you.
Amy, before Patricia goes, I forgot to tell you one important thing. Toward the end, I never heard your voice again. That's why I came back late. I didn't know we stopped.
That's so great. I love it. Oh, thank you. That's good. That's really good. Yeah, thank you. Okay, Patricia, you're at the head of the table. Welcome this morning or this afternoon. For you, it's morning, I think.
Yes, for me, it is morning. And thank you, Amy. That was a wonderful meditation. Very much appreciated it. I was reminded of, and we've talked about this in Open Door, about the gap at the end of the breath. There's that moment of just nothing. And that nothingness reminded me of, oh, is this what death is like? The death of this body? Maybe I'm preparing for this class I'm taking on how not to die. I mean, probably there's an association there. But then taking the breath in, if the body dies, there's no breath to take in. And that it is an immersion into the unknown. So thank you for that experience. It was that reminder and that allowing of, I don't know. Once again, my favorite phrase, I don't know.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you. I discovered this meditation when I was at a real low point. I forget why. I think there was shame or, just whatever, really low vibration. Oh, Lisa has her hand up, so I'll stop. I'll tell you later. Lisa, you're at the head of the table. Thank you. Sorry
Yeah,
to miss you
thanks.
there.
I was trying to figure out how to do it. I wasn't sure if it actually was raised. So I just wanted to appreciate the skill of the balance between the guiding and the spaciousness of allowing our own experience to arise. It felt like just enough of an invitation and re-invitation. And it's so pleasurable when I sense that the guiding is coming from someone with the depth of experience of what they're offering, the invitation from. So it just felt so authentic, which allowed me to drop into my authentic self. And I loved that you kept saying, when you let go of something on the out breath, if it comes back, that's okay. And what kept coming back for me was this idea of I need to try. My life has been, I could tear up. My life has been full of so much trying, right? Trying to be better, trying to be spiritual, trying to learn, trying to accomplish, trying to see, trying to know, and to just continually offer that to the all felt really helpful. And when you asked the question of what's left when you give it all away, I mean, I love that pregnant pause at the end of the out breath that is both empty and full, right? And just hanging out there is so comfortable for me. And the awareness that came in was that all that's there is love. It's when I get out of the way and stop interfering and allow my natural self to emerge, that's all that's there. And so to touch back in on that and drink from that well is really restorative today. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Sandra, come to the head of the table.
Mm.
Good to see you this morning.
Hello. So nice to see everyone. Amy, thank you. I am one of the beneficiaries of your weekly meditations, so I ditto what Cindy was saying and inviting everyone to that. And once again, I was able to just relax and enjoy. I mean, to me, it was just joyful to sit and enter the space of the truth of my being, where there is definitely bliss. I love the word bliss. Just complete joy of just to be here, to be alive. And I don't mind the breathing in and the breathing out, because that's the gist of the life here, you know? So what I wanted to add to all the beautiful commentary was the one thing that's happened to me over the years. And at first I thought, I'm just not a good meditator. I had trouble clearing my mind and doing what all the teachers were saying. So I just gave up. And realized that for me, it wasn't helpful to keep trying to practice meditation. Maybe that's what you were getting at when you said, don't try to do it every day. I don't know, but it's not about practicing meditations. It's taking that feeling that we've all described and bringing it into everyday life all day long. It's not, it's like a walking, living meditation that's always with me, whether I'm washing the dishes or I'm even in a conversation, even right now. It's instead of letting the circumstances of the world color everything, letting the truth of being, the truth of who I am, the love that I am, let that color everything. And then the simplest things, brushing your teeth, can be so joyful. It's just living it. It's not a time to do it. Like I get up and exercise. Bringing this place that we may or may not get a glimpse of during an official meditation, bringing that to everything. And that's what I think of meditation as, a meditative life, not a practice that I do once in a while. And that's what I wanted to add to the discussion. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So I want to just read something from the guides. This is from Paul Selig from the guides, and then I'll give August the head of the table. The guides say that to understand the self as in union with, or as one with source, with the absolute God, whatever you want to call it, beyond the intellect, the only way we can do this is through experience. by the one who knows. And so the whole part of this was to not talk about it, but to try and share the experience of it. And I want to just say, I first discovered, this experience discovered me when I was at a low point, and I went to bed and I was just not in a good place. We all know what that feels like. And so I began to watch my breathing, because I'm a pretty experienced meditator, and I began to watch my breathing, and I just said, I can't hold all this negativity, whatever it is, the shame, the bad feelings, the low vibration. I don't care what you call it. I said, I can't hold this myself. I have to give it to you. If I end up by giving it to you, completely emptying myself out until there's nothing in the bed at all, and my husband wakes up tomorrow and there's just an empty space where I was, I'm giving it to you. I am giving it all. I'm giving all of myself, everything to you. And I meant that completely 100%. And this meditation for me probably took me 2 hours. And I just didn't give up because the desire was so great. And so I emptied and I emptied and I emptied and I emptied for probably 2 hours. And I got to the point where the out breath was so full because I was emptying so much on the out breath that I literally hung in that space of no breath for what seemed like 3 minutes. I did not want to breathe in again. It was so full and empty and perfect. It was love, but nothing. It was everything and nothing. And it was absolutely perfect. And then I would breathe in again, and then I would breathe out. And the reason that I say don't do this too often is it was such a great experience that for the next 10 years, I kept trying to recreate that that experience. And I have recreated it on several occasions, but I realize it's not something to try to do. But what it taught me was that I could give everything to Source, and that what I got back was peace. I could just give all of it. And then I realized that the more I could hold of what seemed like discomfort, the more room there was for peace. And then I realized that the discomfort is just a feeling. It's not good or bad. It's just a feeling, right? And it was in this space of giving and receiving and giving and receiving that I really discovered what the emptiness was. And so that's where I say, and that's also where, and then over time, as I emptied myself out, then I began to say, can I bring this peace back in on the in-breath? Do I have to wait on the out-breath for the peace to come back? Do I have to wait? Can I breathe in the emptiness and the peace on the in-breath and then really have a full flow? Can I do that? And Alka says, yes, yeah, and I agree. When you chase an experience, you lose it. This was more of an investigation, like, what would happen if I did this? And it was just playing with it. But this happened over a period of a decade. And then I realized it doesn't matter what's on the out breath or the in breath. But it took doing that to find out. So I'm just sharing the evolution of the experience with you. And August had his hand up. Are you still with us? Can you unmute? Good
What's up?
morning. Good afternoon. I know it's morning for you.
I don't even know what it is. Legit. Can't remember exactly what I was gonna say, but this whole thing reminds me of a situation. So about a year ago, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure. I think that sounds about right. Sometimes I just go on these weird adventures. It was late at night, and I'm currently in a situation where I'm visiting my parents, living in their house. Strange. I haven't been here since I was 18. Anyways, that's happening. A lot of healing, a lot of expansion happening lately. Anyway, so because of this circumstance, at night times, I go outside. Sometimes I find a park, sometimes I'll find a building. It doesn't matter. And I went and I found this random corner side of a building. It just felt a little safe here. Felt like no one could find me or see me. I just wanted a place to chill. Out of nowhere, doesn't even make any sense. Well, okay. Not gonna make any assumptions or judgments. Out of nowhere, a mouse, okay? I was sitting like kind of like a sidewalk, but it wasn't a sidewalk. But you know how it's a little raised above the ground? So like I was sitting here, my feetsies were here. Okay, I was just chilling, listening to music. And it happens even the direction I'm facing, like right in front of me, like arm's length away to the ground. Okay? This little mouse comes and just running kind of thing and stops directly in front of me. Like arms, like I'm sitting and I could reach my hand out and touch it right in front of me. And it comes running. It stops directly in front of me and then it starts suffocating, like either having a seizure or it's like suffocating. It's like something's going on. So I was like take off my headphones and I don't know, in these moments, like weird moments like this or like something crazy happening, something dangerous happening, something normally takes over this body and just like enters action. Like I don't there's a lot of like situations where people freeze or like they don't know what to do. I'm immediately like on it in a way that I don't even know, I wouldn't know cognitively how to handle things if it was otherwise. Anyways, so I'm watching this and at first I couldn't figure out what was going on. I kept just watching, just not understanding. But at the same time, I knew some, you could say, they're not techniques. But aside from this, I studied in ontology. Anyways, it's like Middle Eastern mysticism. You can announce like consciousness codes in the one mind. Okay. You can announce like quantum healing. So I was just doing that before my body took action. At least that's something I could do as I'm watching this happen. At least I'm like announcing like quantum healing for it or like whatever is happening here. Anyways, there's no direct translation. It's in a different language. Anyways, and so it's just more and more suffocating. And I'm starting to really snap into what's going on, like become very present. And I'm looking closer and closer at this because I'm getting closer to it. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Are you choking, little guy? Like, what's going on? And I get closer, and it's like reached a point. I had never seen this before in my entire life. So it was like, there was a lot of emotions going on as I'm getting closer. And I look closer at it, and it was like suffocating to the point where it was gasping for air. Like, I don't know if I want to recreate it. You get the image, you get the visual, but like just like trying to reach it with its mouth. Imagine that. Or don't. Never mind. Never mind. You get what I'm saying. And anyways, aside from what happened in that story, that was one of the first times ever, maybe, I was like, what's going on here? There's clearly no such thing as air, even if we're in the same land space or whatever is going on. And I'm going like, and something's coming in, and they went, and nothing came in, no matter how hard they tried. Whoever that was in that mouse, or whatever that mouse was, whatever, you get what I'm saying. What's going on? Like, what is breath? What is air? Is someone giving it to me and not giving it to them? What does this mean? Like, and definitely really shifted my perspective on a lot of things. And I think maybe there was certain things I took for granted or I wasn't really aware of. But especially with this this reminded me of that moment. For some reason, it took me back there when we were like not breathing. That part, the first time I did it, yeah, I was kind of like half asleep and like immediately gasped for air the first time.
Mhm.
That reminded me of the little mouse.
Yep.
Yeah, it brought me way back there. After a few times of doing it, I totally left. I have no idea what happened. I was in the dark void. I was vibing.
Yep.
Not even hearing anything anymore. I'm not sure if time passed or what just happened, but I'm back here now. And not sure why I shared that, but here we are.
Actually, I'm glad you did. I almost said, but I didn't. If you notice yourself panicking a little bit when you're trying to really breathe out that last breath of air and float in the no breath, if you notice a little feeling of panic, just breathe in again, you know, let it be natural, but just allow it, allow it, allow it, allow it. So I did almost say that because that's kind of a natural response when you're trying to really exhale completely. So thank you for that share. It was a good reminder. All right, so I think we're
in music break time.
yeah, I'm going to turn it over to Cindy. Thank you all for being with that experience with each other, and I really appreciate your presence.
Let me do this. All right, so